Hello, everyone. I'm Enrique Wang, your composition and rhetoric professor. I would like to give you a quick tour to some of the most important features of our course. I will be using the first week as a model for you to follow in the rest of the weeks of my class. In the first place, I suppose that to be here, you have to be familiar already with D2L. If you're not familiar with D2L at this moment, you have to uh, uh, get a tutorial from the D2L webpage and get up to speed right away, because otherwise you won't be able to stay in the class. If you check over here in the navigation bars, you'll see that you have all that you need to know and to be able to navigate through my class correctly. In the first place, the first link that you may want to visit is the syllabus and contents link. If you click this link, you get to the contents page, where you will have here displayed on the left the table of contents, and beginning with the syllabus first, and the table of contents divided by weeks. It's important that you understand that all the arrangement have been made following a weekly sequence. It's important that you focus your attention on the week, and keeping in mind that in the last week of our class you need to present a portfolio with a sample of all your writings during the course. So while you work on the week, for example, now in week 1, you have to keep in mind that you need to be saving some of the samples of the writing that you do, or the communication that you do, and you have to be saving all these samples in the portfolio. The portfolio is something that you build gradually. You cannot postpone it until the very last minute of our course, because otherwise the results are not what I'm expecting. If you check here, you have the syllabus. It's important that probably you have done it already, that you read and understand the syllabus. It's a long syllabus, but it's a syllabus that is very detailed. It's important that once you read the syllabus, if you have a question, you should post it in the discussions link over here in the first forum. There is a forum for personal introductions, where you should talk about yourself briefly. You should record the video using the video note tool in D2L, and where you state your name on the major, your major, and maybe briefly some personal information. And I say briefly because this personal introduction section is just additional. The real personal introduction is to be done here in the Dropbox or the Deberes link in the first writing assignment. The first writing assignment, you need to write a multimodal personal statement, where you give me as much information as you can about yourself, and your major, your interests, and if there is something important that I need to know about you, this is the time for you to tell me. And because this is an online class and we won't be meeting face to face, or maybe we're not going to be meeting face to face during the time of the module. So here it's important that you read the instruction for the multimodal personal statement. It has to be delivered by the end of the week, by Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, depending on the class section that you're registering. In this personal statement, as I said, you have to combine different modalities. Like, for example, a video. You could use the same video that you loaded in the discussions link, and you have to present a personal statement in writing, and also additional material that you want to give me, like pictures or anything that could help me get to know you a little bit better. This is part of what you need to do for the week. Let's go back to the syllabus and contents section to focus on week 1 and see how it works. Once you get here, you link on the week, and in the week we have the first thing you're going to find here is the planner. The planner it would be useful if you downloaded the planner before you start doing anything in the week. In the planner, you have the arrangement of the reading material, the activities that you have to complete, and you have the schedule. Usually it's a whole week. If you check this, the planner for the first week, you have the description. You have to read from the book the first part 1. The name is The Need for Rhetoric and Writing, and the pages have been listed here from 1 through 74. Additionally, you need to read another chapter from the same book, and how to write good sentences, or this is a portion of a chapter, it's not a complete chapter, and you need to do this to be able to do some of the self-assessment exercises. Here I describe the topic and the activities. Here in the first week we have a video conference, and that is scheduled for Saturday, and I schedule the conference to be from 8 to 11. Actually it's going to be from 8 to 10, only 2 hours. It is a video conference that I'm inviting all my class sections. It's not evaluated, but I'm inviting all my class section to clear doubts if you might have any at that point on Saturday. And then in the week you also have the first quiz, which is a writing exercise. It's a reflection after reading part 1 of your book. You have the date, the submission. I'm using as a model my class in section 3383, and if you're in 3391 or 4285, you have different submission dates. But I'm using the example only one of my classes. In the first week, you have to complete the first quiz. It's a reflection activity, it's a writing activity. You have a question. Once you access the question, you see what I want. And it's a question where you're going to show me that you read the chapter and you understood the chapter, and then you're able to respond to with minimum of coherence and unity and syntax and grammar control. In the week, you also have the multimodal assessment. As I said, in section 3383, should be closing on the 23rd. You have different submission dates depending on this section. Also, if you check over here, you realize that you have self-assessments. These self-assessments, there are 2 different types of self-assessments. One type that are exercises that are online after you have studied all the material for the week. I want you to do the exercises. These exercises are not evaluated. They are to assess your understanding and your knowledge of the contents of the week. So, and you do that by coming here to the Otros link, and you have the self-assessments here, or autoevaluaciones. If you check or if you click the link, it will send you to the right place. You have the self-assessment for all the weeks. If you check 1, for example, you realize the type of exercise that you have to do. I repeat, you're supposed to be doing this after you have completed your study of the week. These exercises give you the result or the answer right away, and if you make mistake, for example, in sum, the system is going to help you see why you're making a mistake. This is a type of self-assessment. As you have seen in the syllabus, there are 2 types of self-assessments. The ones that you do every week online, I won't be able to find if you did them or not. But then there is a second type of self-assessment that you deliver only 3 times in the course, after the 2nd week, after the 5th week, and then close to the end. In the second type of self-assessment, you simply... I had a minor interruption with my phone. I was getting a phone call, and I'm resuming from where I left. As I said, you have to complete these self-assessment exercises after you have studied the material for the week, and then once you do that, 3 times during the module, you have to write a qualitative self-assessment where you tell me about your progress in the class and also about the results of the exercises that you've been doing online, which I won't find the results because there's no way that I see the results because they are individual. But you have a place here in the Dropbox where you should be uploading the qualitative self-assessment. In the first qualitative self-assessment, you tell me about your progress, about the results in the exercises, if you had difficulties in one area in particular, if you took some action to mend the mistakes or to, for example, if it's a punctuation exercise and you had issues with the answers, then you have to tell me where you're making a mistake. These qualitative self-assessments are very important because they help you think about the way you learn. So this is a metacognitive exercise that even if you don't understand the purpose, I can assure you that it's a great value because it helps you reinforce knowledge and without compromising your grade. So this is the place for leaving the self-assessments. Then I'm coming back again to the first week to still show you what you need to do during the week. After you have understood what you need to do reading the planner, you have an object. Every week you have an object like this, which is an interactive object where you have the indications. I wrote the material here to accompany your reading. For example, on page 1, you usually get like a video. I invited professor from the university to be here. I wanted to include other voices other than mine. And for example, here you have Scott Gibson, the chair of the English department, introducing the first week. Then you have my text. I wrote this text to accompany the material that you're reading during the week. So you need to read this before reading the pages assigned from the book. Because here I somehow clarify and I direct you to special places that you need to visit in the class. After you have watched the resource, you simply are in a position to go to the book and read all the material. My recommendation is that you study first and then later you complete the exercises. And you do the self-assessment exercises first, and then if you have other exercises, for example, in week 2, you have quiz 3, 4, and 5. Even though some of these quizzes might appear to be like a quiz, they are not real quizzes. They are exercises that might give you many chances or many attempts. So you're not risking a grade here because in some of the exercises you have 3, 4, 5, or 6 attempts. Once you have completed all these exercises, you will be able to see the result or the score, but not the result. The result and my feedback, you will have access to that after the week is over. So basically, this is the way you need to work in my class. You need to understand the planner first, and then the places to visit. Here, for example, in this week, and right now, you're supposed to be working in the discussions area, recording your personal introduction videos. And here you have the description of what you need to do and how you need to proceed. Please, if you have a question after you have watched this presentation, I would like you to ask me those questions via email or maybe by recording a voice note and sending it to me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You should be in the know that I'm 6 hours ahead of you. I have a time difference with you. If you write to me after 5 p.m. your time, you won't be able to get a reply until the following day.